By last count, there were 82 million bowlers in the USA. 40 million of them are women. 2.4 million of those women bowl regularly in sanctioned leagues. The Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour has accepted 312 members. Tonight, 5 of them remain for your entertainment. ESPN and the Ladies Professional Bowlers Tour present the championship finals of the 1994 $70,000 Lady Ebonite Classic. In the top spot, bowling for her first singles title, is a very intense but talented right-hander, Carolyn Doran. In her way is a balanced field of experienced champions. 2 proven right-handers, Anne-Marie Dugan and Wendy McPherson-Papanos, are in the number 2 and 3 positions, while 2 veteran left-handers with 30 titles between them, Dana Miller-Mackie and Alita Sill, are in the number 4 and 5 slots. Tonight we're at Ebonite Galaxy Lanes in Columbia, Tennessee, where 36 hours ago it was 70 degrees. But as you can see, things have changed. It's terrible outside, an ice storm. But inside, well, we're not exactly comfy and warm, but we are safe. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Durbin, and I'll be working on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour for the next 3 weeks. As we said, there is an ice storm outside. It's really nasty out there. In fact, it's taken out the power in the entire city. We're powered up by a generator, so we're persevering. And working with me in this adversity is the 1993 Queens champion, Jan Schmidt. Jan, welcome to ESPN.
Thanks. Glad to be back.
You know, it's 1994, and it's a new year, a happy new year for the Lady Pro Bowlers, because you got a new umbrella sponsor and more money to bowl for.
Oh, that's right. Samstown has just signed a 3-year deal with the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. They've committed to $3 million for women's bowling. What this means to the players is an increase in prize funds. 1994 will go from a minimum of $35,000 to a minimum of $50,000, with a projected increase in 1995 of $60,000 and 1996 $70,000. In addition to that, we've signed a 3-year deal with ESPN, guaranteeing us 39 telecasts. And between the two, we're hopeful that this will be the turning point for women's professional bowling.
So if we can stay away from the ice storms, we'll be all right, huh?
That's right.
Okay. In our number 1 position, Carolyn Doran is making her first chance from that position. Last year at the Queens tournament, you won from the top spot. Can you give us an idea of how she feels tonight?
Oh, I sure can, Mike. I spoke to her earlier today, and she's feeling a lot like I did at that point in time. She's feeling a little nervous, a little anxious, maybe a little bit of disbelief, but mostly she's feeling pride in herself and what she's accomplished this week. She knows now she can win any week, and any given week she might win, so she's hoping that it will be tonight.
Well, if she's going to win tonight, she's got an experienced field behind her, probably best exemplified in the number 4 and 5 positions.
Dana Miller-Mackie and Alita Sill. Those 30 titles combined, they're both tough competitors. They've both proven they can come through the field. Dana's feeling she's bowling the best she's ever bowled. However, 2 days ago, she had a knee injury, so we'll have to see how that holds up tonight.
Well, we'll see if Dana's knee does hold up in that opening match, as Dana Miller-Mackie from Albuquerque, New Mexico, takes on Alita Sill from Dearborn, Michigan. And Dana's going to throw the first shot on lane 11 here at Ebonite Galaxy Lanes. The left-handers playing between the second and third arrow. Was that the best angle for them?
Most of the week they played between second and third. Got in a little deeper a few times and out a little more in the early mornings.
What a nice opening shot by Dana Miller-Mackie. And coming up next is a 19-time champion. Well, that's a lot of titles to win there, Jan.
Oh, it sure is. And Alita's been struggling the last couple of years due to some wrist problems and tendonitis in the arm. But she's back now, and she's back strong.
She do something special to try and get that wrist strong again?
She had therapy on it. As far as exercise, I think she just started bowling again, working up the strength.
Boy, just dices them apart right there. So 2 opening strikes by 2 veteran left-handers at this point in time. Expect a high-scoring match here?
Oh, I'm sure it'll be high-scoring. The scores have been pretty good all week. There's been a couple of pairs where scoring was lower.
Alita, who ranked first on the money last year, right?
That was due to a couple of big wins at the end of the year. She won the doubles tournament with Lori Soto in Las Vegas, and then she won the Reno mixed doubles tournament.
And she asked for a re-rack. How many re-racks a game does she get?
She gets 2 a game on the television show, and then she has to ask the tournament director for any additional re-racks. Normally during a tournament, we get 5 re-racks per game.
Okay. So if tournament director Tom Schimmick wants some airtime, he just has them ask for some more re-racks.
Exactly.
Okay. She must think this shot's relatively important to try and get out ahead right away to take a re-rack in the second frame.
Oh, it's always important to get out ahead early, especially against a competitor as tough as Dana.
Well, she picked the right rack and she stuffed it right in there. Might notice that big brace on the right knee of Dana Miller-Mackie as we take a look at Alida Sill's shot.
Right up between the second and third arrow, getting out just a little bit past the second arrow.
10 in the pit with that one, right? And Dana is taking a re-rack also. See those 3 holes in the ball? She's got an unusual grip, doesn't she?
She sure does. She went to that. She's having a lot of injuries. She's an athlete who works out a lot, and yet she's one of the most injured. And she thought it might be first because of weight. She tried a lighter weight. That didn't help, so she went to the 3 fingers. It was suggested by her mother, and it has helped her quite a bit.
Comes in light, leaves that 7-pin. What would it be like to bowl with a big brace like that on your knee? Have you ever had any problem like that?
I did have a knee problem, as a matter of fact, the week I won the Queens. I didn't have one with the metal on the side like she does. That's a little more confining than the one I wore. But really, once you adjust to it, you really don't know it's there. It becomes a part of your body.
Honest and true, huh? Okay. Cross lane at the 7-pin. And a mistake.
Well, I think that's part of the knee, to tell you the truth, Mike. She had a little bit of trouble all week when she had to keep her arm in tight to her body in order to get the ball out, and she tended to dip because she couldn't get down on the knee.
You said she was falling off some shots right there. Yeah. See if she falls off here.
And she stayed on it pretty good. Not down as low as Dana normally gets to the line.
She was just hoping it would bite a little bit there at the end. Right? Well, that's one way to take care of the 7-pin. Get it out of there with the first ball.
It's the best way.
Alida, who is single.
Yes, she is. And she's probably right now thinking about her shot. She's been working on visualization. She does it both on and off the lanes, trying to picture the shot prior to shooting it.
Well, she's visualizing pretty well right now. Right now, she's out in front by 32 pins.
You know, Alida was down in about 12th place and came back up the last day. And I had asked her if she changed area of lane or what she did. And she said basically she just changed her equipment and found a world of difference.
Well, that does. Nowadays, the game is so much equipment. Making that right choice as she tries for 4 in a row and has no trouble. Wow. As we go to break, we're going to have a nice Happy Valentine coming to us from that lady that has 4 in a row, Alida Sill.
Grandparents, a happy Valentine's Day. They're probably the most important people in my life besides a parent, of course, but I just want to wish them well and hope to see them soon.
This exclusive telecast presenting the championship finals of the Lady Ebonite Classic is being brought to you by Earth Plus, shampoo plus conditioner in 1 bottle, 1 step to great looking hair. And by calcium-rich Tums. Tums helps wipe out heartburn and gives you calcium. Well, she won last year in a very exciting match with Alida Sill. Beat her 240-something to 230-something. She's going to have to start striking to catch up now.
All right.
Oh.
Ooh, my. Looked like she got that ball a little bit right at target at her set down point. Left to target, excuse me, left-hander.
Well, the 4-6, best she can do, basically, just pitch and pray and hope something good happens. But As I bowled for 40 years and made it once. I don't know about you, but
I've never made it.
well, right now we have your basic route, 54 pins after 4 frames. As the saying goes, if you can do it with a pencil, you can do it with a bowling ball, but you better start trying to put some X's together.
That was a great shot. Came back like a real professional after that split.
Alita still working on 4 in a row. I read here where she bowled her first 300 when she was, or won her first tournament when she was 19. That's what she did, yeah.
Alita's very comfortable on this condition right now. It's more like the morning condition was, and she liked that much better this week.
Gives that a little room, and it comes back, knocks out the 7 pin, but leaves the 9.
And she said she's been having a little bit of difficulty with the evening blocks. She's been working on, she feels like she's right in between, where if she can't let the ball too far left and she can't play too direct. So she's been working with some people from Ebonite on trying to change weights and change surfaces of balls to be able to adjust to that.
You got to be able to adjust to all the conditions. Morning, night, in between. As she converts the 9 pin, you know, the gals have just coming back off a break, which they were off for quite a while. We're going to find out what Alita did during her break time.
I just relaxed a little bit. I teach bowling when I'm not touring, and I did a little bit of that, and I take care of my grandparents, and they live with me now, and that's like a full-time job, so it's my turn to take care of them.
Well, she's got really quite a relationship with those grandparents, doesn't she?
That's great to see. You see more and more of that nowadays, I think.
A little high, leaves the 4 pin. Match is kind of hit a little low here. We need Dana to get a string of strikes and start getting it exciting again.
Alita's been pretty exciting so far.
Yeah. So she switches balls to shoot the cross lane spares?
Correct. She goes to a harder surface ball that creates less friction on the lane. It slides more.
You do that?
Yes, I do.
Really?
I also go to a pound lighter ball for shooting them. I can get a little more speed on the ball that way.
Okay.
To reduce the hook.
That doesn't affect your rhythm or timing for your first shot?
No.
Okay. Dana, who's yet to get a strike on lane 12, is looking for her first double of the match. Pretty good shot. Still crept high.
Boy, that's a few shots in a row now have been starting to come high for Dana, and also Alita went high on that last shot. Lanes may be starting to break down a little bit. It was so cold in here for a while that the shot held up pretty good. Normally they break down under the lights.
Oh, we were combating that tonight, bringing that outside condition in here. Cross lane at the 4-7, and no trouble.
She stayed with that shot much better than the previous 7 pin she shot at. And Dana's still trailing by 52 pins up in the 7th frame.
So is there anything that you recommend that she do on that right lane to try and get it back into the 1-2 pocket?
She'd probably want to move her feet a little bit to the right, possibly her target too. Get into the oil just a little bit more.
And there's a strike on lane 11. She's been perfect over there so far. Well, we're going to take another break, and we're going to hear from Dana as she has a very nice Valentine wish for us.
Yes, I wish everybody out there that if you're by yourself this Valentine's, that to remember that you're never alone and that God is always there for you.
Well, she talk about a game face. She comes ready to play, right?
You know, she really does, but I asked her what she'd like for people to know about her, and she said, I'm really concentrating. I'm not really that mean.
Well, Well, you can't all be Elite Trevino while we're in competition, you know, where you're talking to the audience and everything else. A lot of people are like Alita here. They're concentrating, somewhat intense during that competition.
I think it's very hard to draw the line there, to try and enjoy yourself and joke around with people and at the same time be focused and ready to go when you're on the approach.
Oh, she made that adjustment on lane 12. And lane 11, she's not having too much trouble of any kind. And she builds on that lead, which is up to 62 pins at this point in time. And this match is almost in the history class.
It's pretty close. It'd be real close. Dana would really have to go off the sheet here to force Alita to mark.
Right now, Dana just kind of like for a little pride's sake to finish this game out strong.
Oh, sure.
High again. Nope, it held right there. You know, we talked to her earlier, and we asked her if she'd made any changes in her game. This is what she said.
In other sports, like, for instance, a runner, when you get down in the blocks to, like in track, their first two steps, if their first two steps out of the blocks are gigantic, it kills momentum. Same in bowling. If your first two steps are gigantic, it kills momentum. So I needed to make them short burst so that the end picks up momentum. I felt my momentum was in the wrong place. I kind of lagged in my swing on the end, on the tail end, and I thought I was effective with it, but that doesn't mean that's the best I could do. So I needed to shorten up my first couple steps and pick it up on the last three steps.
Interesting idea, shortening up those first steps, because momentum was pretty good on those last three shots.
It sure was, and that is a key in many sports. You want your momentum at your point of release or point of impact in some sports.
Boy, she's a machine, just one right after another here. Relentless.
She is lined up and ready to go.
Does she smile ever? I mean, or just when she collects a check?
When she collects the check. We saw a big smile out of her in the doubles tournament when Lori Soto and Alita shot a 300 in the doubles tournament. So there was a huge smile at the end of that.
I love the way she throws that ball, I'll tell you. There's a little wry smile there. The old finish him off shot here. She can go out the sheet here for 268. Not a bad beginning.
Wow, could be an exciting evening.
Well, it's already been an exciting evening, with ice storms and generators and everything else.
That is true. I'm actually, it's pretty good that all the finalists made it here.
One more. Yeah, rips them apart here. And we got some of these hardy souls that braved the bad weather and drove in here to Columbia, Tennessee, Ebonite Galaxy Lanes.
Do you know these people have been sitting here for about 5 hours now?
That's real bowling fans, right?
That's right. Sitting here waiting to see this great show.
She picked the right place to get that split, finishing with 266. Alita is going to be our winner. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some of our other finishers, because we did have other people that made money in this tournament.
Well, Kevin, I'm sorry that we can't be together again for Valentine's Day. It's 3 years now. But at least I made the cut this week. I finished 7th. I'm happy about that. So I'll see you soon. Happy Valentine's Day.
Well, there's their first match. Both players with 9 strikes, but Alita put them in the right places, winning 266 to 216. Now she takes on Wendy McPherson-Papanos, right-hander playing left of the 3rd arrow, really.
Oh, she was definitely in, sometimes left of 4th arrow through the later blocks. Right now, between 3rd and 4th.
Well, she's comfortable with that angle. She starts right out with the strike.
Beautiful opening shot. Wendy's ready to bowl. She practices a lot before coming out. She practices 5 days a week. She said she's prepared.
How many games a day usually? Any idea?
No, she didn't comment on the number of games, but
she works at her game, in other words.
she sure does.
Most of the gals out here like that? I mean, real hard workers at their game?
I think the majority of them are.
Well, she doesn't need to. She just throws every ball in the 1-2 pocket.
Well, the break didn't hurt her at all.
No, it certainly didn't. You know, in 1992, she was voted into the Michigan State Hall of Fame.
That's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
There's a lot of very talented bowlers in the state of Michigan. It's difficult to get into that Hall of Fame.
Michigan really is a bowling hotbed. Detroit area and everything, they really love their bowling up there. Trying for that quick double. 10-pin tried to stand, but that pin just clubbed it down.
Thought about it for just a moment.
This is not an instant replay, but it is an instant replay.
Pretty much straight up between the second and third arrow. Oh, 6-pin flew around, came off the wall, and caught the top of the 10-pin.
She rolled her eyes a little bit that time. You know, she must have been a little excited there. Trip 4 action there.
Big break on that shot. Ball finishing very hard through the pocket.
Looked like it just didn't quite come off her thumb real clean there. But
now she actually didn't get it out quite as far as she had been. Very high on the head pin. It looked like the 2-pin or the head pin off the wall, taking out the 4-7.
Well, those Trip 4s, you know, Billy Hardwick made a living doing that 20 years ago, so, or was it longer than that?
27 career TV appearances for Wendy in her young career.
Ooh, the old solid 10.
That was a much better shot than the previous shot, and yet she carries the last one and leaves a 10-pin on this one.
27 TV appearances so far. She's only 26 years old. You know, she's got a bright future ahead of her.
She's already won the Triple Crown. Youngest bowler to do that.
Youngest bowler. She was only 14. She had her first 300, right?
That's right.
Hey. Uh-oh.
That was trouble from the start.
So many times when you switch balls like that, and I've done it myself, you know, it's a slightly different feel with that other spare ball, and cost her right there.
It did not get off her hand clean at all. That caused the ball to skid a little more, no roll on the ball, so it never flipped over.
I mean, is Alita the type that when you open in front of her, it's kind of like bleeding in front of a shark?
You know, I think Alita, it doesn't matter what the opponent does.
Wow, I didn't expect that. She opened it right back and gave it right back to Wendy.
That's unusual for any of the professionals out here to give it right back. This again is a almost impossible spare to make.
At the 4-7, gets the 9 out, and we've got basically an even match after 3 frames.
You know, I talked to Alita whether she worked on anything over the break on her physical game itself. She said she had worked a bit besides changing ball weights on a bend in her elbow. You can see it right as she's getting ready to come down to release the ball. She cocks her elbow just a bit, and she said it used to bother her, but now they're all telling her not to worry about it. As long as she can bowl that way, she shouldn't worry about it.
I remember a pretty great left-hander used to bend his elbow at the top of the swing, and he didn't seem to have too much trouble. So Wendy wondering whether she's supposed to get up and bowl, and I'm telling her, yeah, we don't have a commercial break for a couple more frames here yet. Stands basically in the middle of the approach. Just walk just a little bit left.
She does walk left, probably about 5 or 6 boards. Once again, high on that right lane. All the players seem to be coming high, both right and left side on the right lane.
Saw her leave the 3-6-10 a couple times in the practice balls too, so just must be really in the execution of the shot. She just doesn't quite get it out as far as she wants to. At the 3-6-10. And 3-pin match after 4 frames.
Notice she changed to that same ball she just had trouble with to shoot that 3-6-10, and it got off her hand just fine that time.
Just took that one shot to get used to it, huh? Good speed with that one. And the 10-pin just doesn't cooperate.
Another nice shot. 6-pin coming out off the wall and tapping twice, but not hitting the 10-pin.
Kind of did a dance around it, didn't it? Cross lane at this 10-pin that she missed back in the 3rd frame. Same lane. And no trouble this time. Well, Alita with a chance to take the lead back again. A lane that she went high on the last time.
And she's trailing just by 2. She could go up by 8 with the strike right here.
Yes, she certainly did.
You know, Alita is one of the players that does not particularly exercise a lot or work out a lot. She says she tries to. She does it off and on. But as you and I probably both know, it's a hard thing to get yourself to continue exercising all the time.
Yeah, I have one of those Nordic machines down in my basement that my wife keeps saying, hey, we ought to hang clothes on it. You know, nobody's using it. Trying for 3 in a row. Well, she had a little chink in the armor. As we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to hear from Wendy and see what her Valentine's wish is for the rest of us.
I'd just like to say happy Valentine's Day to my family, and especially you, Nicholas. Happy Valentine's Day. I love you.
Well, trailing by 18 pins, she needs to get some strikes going right here in the 6th frame.
Still 5 frames left. Plenty of time for her to come back.
Better speed on that shot.
Much better. The ball came in a lot lighter.
Looks like there's a lot of back-end hook or reaction for the bowlers, especially on the right side. Alita's ball seems to be making a nice even turn, but Wendy's ball really snaps at the back end.
Yeah, and I talked to a couple of them earlier during practice, and a couple of the players that were playing deep inside felt that there was more back end than they had earlier in the week.
Any particular reason for that you know of? Or?
Possibly the temperature. You know, so cold in here for so long. I don't know if they stripped the back ends before the show today.
For the double. Knocks that 10-pin out of there this time. Knocks it down to an 8-pin lead.
I understand the entire lane was stripped, so that would be the reason for the back ends hooking so much. There hasn't been enough carry down yet. You know, the first match being 2 left-handers. Not a lot of carry down on the right side yet.
Okay. So she's creating her own carry down right now.
She's going to create her own shot for herself.
Alita for 4 in a row. Oh, what an unusual hit. Did you see the 7-pin went late, the 9-pin went late?
That ball hit a little bit weak.
Unusual reaction here.
She got that out a little bit farther than she has been. The ball coming in late. There you see it hitting very lightly off the 5-pin, barely taking out the 9.
Almost went in front of the 9-pin there.
Barely touched it.
But it's a strike and an 18-pin lead, trying for 28. Oh, the trip 6 action. Boy, she's got them all going right now.
First one, then the other. That 9-pin going out late was caused by the ball not driving hard enough, deflecting too much off the head pin, not driving into the 5-pin hard enough. On her very next shot, the ball drove a little too hard. Almost not taking out the 6-pin with the 3-pin.
But the thing is, she has 2 X's. I mean, you know, so she doesn't care.
High percentage of carry for her tonight.
Wendy's got a strike. Well, we talked to Wendy a little bit earlier about her unique approach. This is what she had to say.
I think I'm pretty basic. I don't think I have a lot of unique parts. Real fortunate that I'm as strong as I am. I think a lot of times that helps me out. But I think I'm pretty basic.
Well, she doesn't think she's unique at all.
No, she doesn't. However, you know, the strength factor is important. Game after game, Wendy's throwing 16-pound equipment as opposed to a lot of the other players throwing 15-pound. She's very strong and able to keep that up over 40 and 50 games a week.
Now, is she another one that works out on a regular basis? Do you know?
She walks and she rides a bike.
And she strikes a lot, too. 8-pin match. Frame and a half to go.
And she, Wendy thinks most of her exercise just comes from bowling, the amount of games she puts in.
Well, that speaks well for our sport, doesn't it? A little extra time there. Ooh, the old 7-pin. Well, we've got an interesting match now.
That's what we'd call a weak 7 or soft 7. This 4-pin didn't fly around the 7.
So that's the difference between the two, between a weak and a strong or a hard 7?
Right. The ball didn't actually finish strong into the pocket. And the 4-pin just kind of lays down in the channel there.
Reminds me of my ball. As she has no trouble converting. What that means, though, now is that Wendy McPherson's fate is in her own hands, no matter what Alita does.
Right. Alita cannot shut her out.
8 pins the difference. We're headed to the 10th frame.
Alita can strike out for 243, and Wendy McPherson still has a possible 246.
You know, this is one of the nice things about the sport of bowling is you hit these pressure situations. It doesn't make any difference whether you're male, female, or whatever. You know, the pressure's on you right there.
Oh, it's tough, and you know that means whether you're going to win or lose.
Well, the champion responded there. One more, and she forces Wendy to get 2. Is that right?
That's correct. You know, these professionals are pretty much used to this situation. And a lot of the things that they do is they're so repetitive that their body, because they've repeated the same motions over and over each shot, they're able to kind of trick themselves into it's not really that much of a pressure situation. You know, as long as you have a routine that you go through each shot, it really helps out a lot.
Well, that's good. I wish somebody would have told me that 20 years ago. For the double. Uh-oh. Well, the only good thing is that's the second ball in the 10th. She's still going to be in the 230 bracket. Right now, she gets 9 out. Wendy is going to need the first strike and what, 7 pins and a spare?
First strike and 8 pins and a spare to beat her. She could shoot 234. Oh, 7, you're correct, because she can only get 1 pin there.
So 232, not as good as the first game, still a very excellent game. Comes down as Wendy takes a re-rack. That you bowl 42 games all week long. You wait for hours in an ice storm in a generator-powered bowling center, and you have to throw 1 strike to continue.
And you know, it's very hard on an athlete to start and stop. They started to warm up, then we had trouble with the lanes because of the power, and they went down, and then they warmed up again, and we had some more trouble. So the starting and stopping is very difficult on the body to stay loose and stay in top competitive form.
Right now, she's probably concentrating on making this shot. Wow, pretty shot. Looked like it was going to run a little high there, but the 4-pin got crunched down by the 2.
Ball set up pretty nicely. I was worried it was going to go high.
Yeah, we get a look at it again. She stroked this one pretty.
Looked like a very good shot. Just had strong back end on that lane. 4-pin slept out the 7 at the last second. Yeah, that's it.
So right now, she's still in a situation where she needs at least 7 and a spare, correct?
Correct.
Remember Del Ballard was in this situation a couple of years ago.
Oh, let's not bring that up.
A lot of room. And she's going to lose. Wait a minute. No, she's not going to lose. We could have a tie. She's going to make the spare to tie.
Oh, my.
What happens in a tie? If she makes this, what do we do?
We have a 9th and 10th frame roll-off. And the same player who started this match will start again.
Oh, really? So Wendy will start if she makes this?
She will roll 1 frame, Alita will roll 2, and Wendy will roll the 10th. She let that ball, she missed her target by probably about 5 boards.
Tough spare. Tough spare. But she pulls it right in with no trouble. So we're going right to a roll-off now, a 9th and 10th frame action, a tie match. Kind of an unusual turn of events right there.
Why do we...
Wow, I'm finding out something's wrong with the scoreboard. I'll let you know what's happening here when we come back. Don't go away. We'll let you know what happened here.
I'd like to wish happy Valentine's Day to my fiance, Bill Straub, who can't be out here with me. So I just wanted to say hi and happy Valentine's Day. And sorry we can't be together. And I love you.
Well, there's the shake of the hands. Our semifinal match. This is getting down to nitty-gritty time. The winner of this one's going to get a chance to bowl for the title.
And Anne-Marie, no stranger to starting out strong each year. Of the last 3, she started out in the telecast in the beginning of the swing.
Nothing like getting off to a quick start. Ooh, nice break, breaking up there. Let's see, got to get the left-handed pins right. The 7 and 8 falling over, leaving only the 6-10.
And that might have been caused by a little bit of a break there. Like a little less ball speed on that shot, causing the ball to hook just a little more. And that was the Merritt double she won in December of '93.
Cross lane at the 6-10. Out a bit of trouble there. And our first look at Anne-Marie Dugan. At one time bowled 100, 300, 265.
And that was just this past year in a regional event, breaking Jeannie Maiden's old record of, I believe, 864.
And she shattered it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Just like that, knocking out the 4, 7, and 10. Well, off to a nice start there. She knows she has to get her striking clothes on here because Alita has just been throwing a lot of strikes in the first 2 games. There we see the WIBC record. Seems very meticulous as she sets herself up, puts her hand in the ball.
She's been working very hard on her mental attitude, basically her emotions, trying to stay focused on only her game and only what she can control.
It's hard to do sometimes, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Do you watch your opponent bowl when you're bowling against them?
You know, I hate to admit it, but I do. Probably better off sometimes that you don't, because when you see them get a good break or a bad break, it does affect you emotionally.
You know, I know bowlers that will intentionally try and throw for a crossover strike, you know, just to demoralize their opponent.
Oh, not on the women's tour.
No, I don't know on the women's tour, but I just have known people like that. Not this one. She just throws every ball in the pocket. Right now, though, she finds herself, I think, trailing for the first time in so far as she's been bowling tonight.
10 pins down, but it's only the 2nd frame.
She doesn't look overly worried. And there's the breakdown between 11 and 12. She seems to like 11 slightly better. She hadn't had a whole lot of spares.
No, strikes are split and the one open.
Oh, my goodness. The 6 goes into the 8. Doesn't even get a smile out of her. No slap of the hands. Does she ever slap her hands or anything?
On a rare occasion. And this ball, again, like the previous shot, coming in a little high. Had been going off the wall.
And her reaction, oh hum.
Got away with another one. She had the 6, 8, 7, 10 standing last frame and kicked it out.
Now, will that affect this shot? Guess not. She's staying detached.
She was looking down during that shot.
Was she? She wasn't watching, huh?
She wasn't watching.
Okay. And a replay.
Focused on this shot. There she is in, about 18 at the arrows. Getting out as far as almost 10.
Boy, everybody throws big hooks nowadays, right? You throw a big hook like that?
No, I do not.
Okay. Neither do I, so.
Anne-Marie has a very strong release. A lot of revolutions on the ball. Really hits up on the ball.
For 4 in a row. Ooh, a little Dyson action there. Wow.
Little slice of that 7-pin.
Alida now, trailing by 20. She got up last time. She was down by only 10. Now it's 20. There's the release.
There she is. See how she hits straight up through the ball. More of the cranker type of style. Not as much of a stroker. I would call Lita more of a stroker. Rolling the ball into the lane more.
3 in a row. Yes, ma'am. All business there.
It's back to 10 pins.
So we've bowled 4 frames, and we've got a potential 8 strikes, and 7 of them are up there. So just one little miscue so far.
Lita strikes on this ball, and the match will be all even again.
And Anne-Marie looking down, not looking at her opponent. See if she takes a peek here. Nope, she didn't take a peek, but Alida just keeps striking.
Did not even look.
You know, that's paying off, though. When you're talking about somebody having to stay detached and not like what their opponent does, you know, when she got that trip of the 6 into the 8, she didn't even know it.
You know, she said one of her goals right now is to have a good attitude, and she felt that that would help her both in her personal life and in bowling. She said it would be a real accomplishment just to be able to stay focused on only her game. That would be a big goal for her to meet.
Wow. Blows out a little air coming back. She's just stuffing every shot there in that right lane. Up 10 again. Well, she's no stranger to 300s. We know that.
Back to back.
Trying for 6 in a row here on lane 11. See how she tucks that little finger under there?
That actually gets her a little bit more rotation on the ball. And spreads that index finger just a bit.
Come on, as she says. And 7-pin wouldn't cooperate.
Pins all around it, but it would not go down.
Well, she's going to go cross lane at this 7-pin. If she converts it, I think she'll be up by 9 pins. So that'll be an interesting finish to this match.
And we just saw a look at Alida there, as opposed to Anne-Marie. Alida is watching her opponent.
So she's able to just naturally stay more detached from what they do, I guess.
She's naturally not as emotional, I believe.
Well, those emotions can play havoc. They're going to play havoc a little bit next Monday, as Anne-Marie is going to tell us about her Valentine's wish.
Of course, I have to wish my husband a happy Valentine's Day and let him know that I love him very much and I miss him.
While we were away, Alida just never stopped. Strike here. Moves over the left lane. Strike here. But Anne-Marie couldn't answer. 7 here. 3, 6, 10. She makes that. Another 7 in a spare. Alida now is up in the 8th frame, leading by 17 and increasing it to 27.
You know, her percentage of carry is really amazing today. She can hit anywhere from high to light in the pocket, and she's carrying everything.
Well, it's hard to beat somebody that never stops striking. I mean, she now has 7 in a row going into this match. She was averaging almost 250 for the first 2 matches. You look at the score there, and it pretty much tells the story. Anne-Marie is playing a great game, but right now she's trailing by 27 pins. And you get an idea of how cold it is in here. She's put that jacket on. While we have the generator powering the electricity in the machines, it doesn't run the heat. As Alita just dices them up again. 37 pin lead.
Anne-Marie really needs this strike.
You know, she took a piece of tape out and put it in between shots, and I think this cold has affected her release a little bit.
Well, when it's this cold out, your hand normally tends to shrink and also feel a little bit slippery. Very hard to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, I saw her wet her thumb, and it looked like she was just struggling to get that feel, you know. She leaves a 3, 6, 9, 10.
Once you lose your ball feel, it's very difficult. If she feels like she's losing it, she's squeezing it, she's normally going to pull it when she's squeezing it. You know, interestingly, she just changed her grip. She has a double jointed thumb, and she only used to insert part way into the thumb hole. And she just changed so that where she's burying her thumb in, you can see it right there. She buries her thumb all the way down into the ball, which is something new for her. And she felt like she doesn't lose anywhere near as many shots as she used to.
Okay. A little tip for those out there watching. 3, 6, 9, 10. Nice conversion, but right now, the best she can get if she strikes out is 239. Alita Sill cruising along at a 260 clip.
Interesting on the left lane, the shot before where she came up light, she was at the 20th board at 15 feet, got it all the way out to the 7th board at 45 feet. On this last shot on the right lane, she only got it as far as the 10th board. So she
spraying it a little.
Right.
You know, once she left that 7-pin back in this 6th frame, she just never seemed to be able to get it back together. She filled the frames, but wasn't enough to beat this striking machine over here.
You know, that maybe when she started to lose the feel on the ball. She was very aggressive, throwing excellent shots prior to that.
Cross lane at the 7-pin. Knocks it off.
A very nice, very professional game by Anne-Marie. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough today.
Quite. 228 with a strike. A clean game effort. Alita Sill is our winner. And we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to hear from Carolyn Doran in her Valentine's wish.
Well, I want to wish Dill a happy Valentine's Day, because we won't be together on Valentine's Day because he'll be out bowling. And I guess, can I tell him I love him? Or do we not say those things on TV? And I love you, and thank you for all your help and standing by me. And to my mom and dad who can't be here, and I want them to know that I love them, and thank you for being behind me.
Well, here it is, the championship match. Alita Sill, who needs only 253 to break the record on the LPBT.
That's right, and that record is 10-19 for 4 games on the television show set by Lori Nichols back in 1981 in Rochester, Michigan.
So it's been there a while. Well, she's been there all night. And we get our first look at Carolyn Doran, 5-step player. And she's playing a little different angle than the rest of the right-handers.
She's playing a little bit farther to the right, closer to the second arrow, between second and third. The rest of them were inside of the third arrow. She doesn't hook the ball quite as much as Wendy or Anne-Marie did. She plays a little bit more direct up and in.
And gets a little light action right there.
You know, interestingly, she was thinking about taking a re-rack on that shot and elected not to, probably saving them for later in the match.
Well, it doesn't want to waste one in the first frame a lot of times.
That's right, and it turns out the rack was just perfect for that shot.
Right. trying to get control of probably her heartbeat right now. She's that heart's racing. You can see she's talking to herself, the anxiety on her face, but sometimes you need that to perform well.
Oh yeah, Carolyn, hasn't made a lot of telecasts, so there's got to be a lot of pressure there.
Will it hit it? Boy, it would have been a nice break. She kind of lost that one off her hand and could have got that light shaker. Would have been nice.
She didn't quite get the lift at the end. She's actually making pretty good shots, though. She's trusting the ball. She's not pulling it. She's throwing the ball pretty hard, 17.7 miles per hour, according to our bowler track, setting it down at about the 12th board at 15 feet, going out to about the 8th board and back.
So just about a 4-board head belly, huh? At the 7-pin, clips it, just enough. You know, we were talking about Alita, that if she wins this match and wins this tournament, that would put her in a select company, 20 titles.
That's right. The only other 2 players to do it is Lisa Wagner with 28 and Patty Costello, now retired, with 25. Interestingly, I talked to Alita and asked her about her goals, and that was not one of the things that came up. She said she's met most of them in bowling. She'd like to win the U.S. Open and be comfortable in life.
She's sure comfortable in the pocket all the time. What's that, 27 strikes now? It must be awful coming on. You're trying to win your first title. You're all tense, nervous and everything, and you got a person here that just does nothing but strike.
But that can change at any time.
Well, that's true. It can.
You never know.
Yeah. This game, and she wants a re-rack over here on the left lane. Well, I'll tell you what, if I were going like she is, I don't think I'd bother with it. I just...
But you know what, Mike? That could be the critical mistake, too. You know, if she sees something off spot quite a bit and leaves a pocket split, that could change the whole complexion of the match. So when you're up there, you have to do with what you feel's right at that time. And possibly she just wanted a little more time. Maybe it wasn't even the pins. She just wanted to buy some time there.
Do you think so? She seems so ice cool. I mean, just relaxed, confident. Oh, is it going to fall? Boy, if she'd have got that one, it leaves the 10, but man, she had the 5-10 up there for a while. I told you she should have shot that first rack, I'll tell you.
You're probably right. Ball coming in very weak. Head pin off the wall, back across, and just taps the 10. Now, you know, pins have a 9-degree topple angle that was very close to toppling. There's two hollow spots in there that give them a 9-degree topple.
So what does that mean, 9-degree topple?
If it's tilted 9 degrees, the pin should fall.
Should is a key word.
Should. Now, that also varies by how new the pins are and how flat the bottoms are. Here's a look at Carolyn Doran, how she played this lane. The first shot at 15 feet, she's at the 12th board, going out to a little past 8 and coming back in at 9 at 45 feet. So again, about 4 boards.
And you see how she got that one a little further over the foul line, caught that with the fingers a little bit there.
Carolyn generally gets the ball well out onto the lane.
Sure likes to talk to herself there. That's good. You know.
She's pretty consistent in her shots right now. Just 11.5 board, very close to 12 at 15 feet, out to 8, back to 10. She's no more than a board off.
Yeah, within a half a board there
right.
from the first shot. Yeah.
And here's the first shot on this lane where she's up now, 12th board to 8. Still at 8 at 45 feet. That's the ball that came in real late.
That one just kind of fell off the hand a little bit, you know, just not the lift that she had on the right lane there.
Yeah.
Going for that double, it's a little different sometimes.
Oh, yeah, and it's also different coming off of one shot to the next immediately, especially when it's cold. You don't have that time. She's putting her hands in her jacket to warm them back up. She doesn't have time. You lose the ball just a little bit. The speed went down a little bit on that shot. She actually set it down a little bit left, so she got into the oil a little bit more. Ball skid a little bit longer.
At the 10 pin. No trouble. Gives our viewers at home, though, a chance to see how precise they can be and still not strike, though.
That is pretty amazing, and I think oftentimes people at home during league bowling don't realize that. Sometimes they're missing by a lot and feel they should be striking. Sometimes they're accurate and they don't strike. It's hard to understand. I don't understand it.
Keeps you coming back for this game. Boy, she got the 5 out there. No trouble.
You know, actually, with regards to that, I should point out for the people at home, oftentimes you feel that bowling is a lot of luck, and there is a degree of luck involved, but there also is a degree of angle of entry into the pocket. And if you don't have the proper angle, even though it looks like you're hitting the pins properly, they don't fall in the proper direction to take out all the pins. So there is other things to it. There's also
your brain can
pin
understand
placement.
that, but sometimes your emotions don't, right?
Oh, they'll never understand it.
For the double. Ooh, and the 7 pin. So Carolyn Doran is still hanging around in this match. She looks at her opponent there. She's not putting the jacket on this time, in.
She's talking away down there. I'd really like to know what she's saying.
She's probably saying, hey, just get up there, relax, make the shot. You're still in this match. Right now, I know as hard as she's been trying to work on her mental game, that she's saying positive things to herself. It's that hand drying. 3-time collegiate All-American.
Yep, Carolyn came out here on tour with a lot of experience. Nowadays, a lot of the bowlers come out here with experience.
Right up the second arrow. Perfect shot. You know, we've been talking about her mental attitude. We asked her earlier that what adjustments she made then. This is what she had to tell to us.
If I bowled bad, I mean, my day was bad, the week was bad, everything, because I revolved everything around bowling. And now, I'd say in the last 3 months, everything has changed. Yes, I'm bowling better, but even when I don't bowl well or don't perform to the best of my ability, I practice the next day and try to get right back on track. I don't dwell on anything that bad that happens at all.
Well, she's going to have a chance to put that into practice and not dwell on the 10 pin that she left on this lane the last time.
And Carolyn said she credits a lot of that attitude to Del Ballard and Paul Fleming, a doubles partner of hers.
Whiffs the head pin, leaving the 1-2-4.
Oh my, she missed right on that shot. She got the ball out immediately. It probably got out to about the 6th board. And here's the bowler track, setting it down in the same area, but going all the way out to the 6th board at 30 feet. 6th board still at 45 feet. There's oil out there, or what we call out of bounds. The ball cannot get back.
Tough spare. Boy, she lucked. Well, I won't say that. She just gets it. Yeah.
That is not the textbook way to pick up that spare. And she got a good kick off the wall off the 2-pin, taking out the 4.
See, what I've noticed about Carolyn is that her timing is slightly early, so sometimes under pressure, you know, you have a chance to rush even a little bit more, and just that's what happens. You whiff the head pin. Where Alita, is just so relaxed with her swing and so always in time. Man, what a pretty shot. She is a treat to watch bowl.
She has a very compact game, and like you said, very relaxed.
Looking at that rack. Is she asking for another re-rack? I think she is. Yeah, she is. Well, we saw what happened back in the 3rd frame. She asked for she's used up her racks now. Didn't do her any good back then. Let's see if it does. Same lane, too. She must see something there. The 5-10 must be off spot.
There must be something a little bit off. Almost saw a little bit of a wry smile there from Carolyn.
Alita, who was twice the Bowling Writers Association of America's Bowler of the Year. Back in 84 and 85. Leaves the 7-pin again. So she's having trouble carrying on lane 11. That's the bad news. The good news is she only has to bowl 1 more frame on that lane.
And again, the ball is coming in, hitting pretty good in the paddock, but the 4-pin just laid down in the channel. Not again.
Ooh, a little reaction there. At the 7-pin. Well, this match just kind of ebbs and flows here. The 253 has gone by the wayside. Now it's the title. It's 20 victories. It's against the first victory, or at least first singles victory.
She has 2 television appearances, Carolyn, one being in the doubles and one in a singles. She won that doubles title with Lisa Wagner.
Well, leaves a 7-pin this time on the lane that she's been striking on every time.
It looked like she got that one out a little bit wider again than she had been.
Well, the thing, you know, the way bowling goes, I mean, now maybe she's missed her good lane, she'll hit the other lane, so.
And once again, she set it down about the 11th board, a little farther right, all the way out to the 6th board, but hit up on the ball a little better and was able to get it back to the 9th board at 45 feet.
Cross lane at the 7-pin, no trouble. So the frames keep ticking by. It's a 10-pin difference. It's going to come down to who can perform in the 8th, 9th, and 10th, as it so often does. And I think she asked for a re-rack. Interesting. Left-handers and right-handers are asking for a re-rack on lane 11.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to see what they're catching on those pins down there.
While we wait for the re-rack, we had a chance to hear from Judy Sutar and her Valentine's wish.
Day, you know, 20 years, but Valentine's Day is February 14th. That's on a Monday. You know, you still owe me a present.
Well, that's laying it right out there, isn't it? David, are you listening out there, Dave? Of course, he's referring to Dave Sutar, her Hall of Fame husband.
And what will that present be?
The 2-4-8. Just, well, does she have to move, or what does she have to do on that lane?
She just needs to make better shots. She's letting the ball out quite a bit farther than she was earlier. Again, out to the 7.5, almost out to the 6. Still at the 7th board at 45 feet.
Tough spare here.
She was in more around the 8th board earlier, 12 to 8, and she's just a little bit farther right now.
Conversion keeps herself in the match. 13 pins the difference.
You know, Mike, I've been married almost 11 years. I don't think I'd tell my husband that on national television.
Ooh, well,
how about 20 years?
Maybe after 20 you would, yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess there comes a point when it's okay.
Well, I've been married 30 years, so I mean, I think my wife would say, hey, same thing Judy said. Bang!
And Alita's going to put the pressure on Carolyn.
You know, she was coming back off there. I was trying to read her lips, and I think she was saying, one more now, one more. I'm sure that's the way she thinks, you know, just one frame at a time, one shot at a time.
Oh, you can tell by watching her. You know, that's all she's focused on at that point in time.
That's an amazing ability to be able to do that. And of course, if she does that, she increases this lead to 23 and really puts the pressure on an inexperienced player. It didn't do it.
Oh, got a good break, too.
Yeah, she could have really hurt herself. The 6-7 was up there, winds up with only the 6th pin. She struck on that lane one time the whole match. It was in the first frame.
So Carolyn could get up and strike out in the 9th and 10th to force Alita to throw a double in the 10th.
So, again, it's going to come right down there. She knows she's still in the match, has a chance.
Shoots cross lane at that 6 pin. And here's a chance for Carolyn to show that she's made that higher level of performance on the tour. You know, it's very difficult at this point in time to make a good shot. It takes a different level of performer.
And she very much wants to get to that level.
She does. She doesn't believe she's at that level yet. She doesn't put herself in a category with the top players.
Well, that's a top shot right there.
She may be farther along than she believes she is. That was a quality shot.
And what does she do? She, you know, this may be the most important frame of her career. She hasn't had a strike on this lane yet. She's been light as we see the replay here of her shot. What does she do?
See, she never got that out past about the 9th board. What she has to do is close herself up and make sure she doesn't let that ball leak out to the right on this shot.
Now close herself up is keep the shoulders square.
Square the shoulders up. Don't let the shot go out to the right. She's got to give it a chance. She's got to hit the head pin.
Let's see. That's got a chance.
Much tighter.
Oh, another level.
Carolyn is rising.
Did you see those lips then? One more. It's just what she said. One more.
You can do it right there. Come on. One more shot. You can do it.
Blow that air out. Come on. This may be the biggest shot of her career.
Again, that last shot never got out past the 9th board. That's what she has to do here. Come on.
That's
It
got a
looks
chance.
good.
Whoa!
Oh, my.
Those were her best shots of the game, of the entire night. One
There
more,
she
she
goes.
said.
Come on, one more. She is psyching herself up. Psyching herself up. Well, that mental prep she's been working on is pretty good stuff.
A strike gives her 216, forces Alida to get a double and 8. On a lane that Alida has not missed.
It's not even, look at Alida. She's just focusing on what she's got to do. Tremendous concentration.
That's why she won 19 times.
Look at this.
Wow, what a finish.
That was a yes, all right.
I tell you, she's got to be proud of herself no matter what the outcome. Of course, she wants the outcome to be positive in the win.
And Alida is asking for a 3rd re-rack, this time on the right-hand lane.
And
take a look at the pins.
Well, it looks like the 5 is off spot a little bit to the right.
Right, the 5 is to the right there.
But she hasn't struck on a re-rack yet. And this is spoken by the king of the re-rackers of all time, but as it comes down, we'll look at it now. It looks pretty good to me.
That's a much better rack.
Very little time. Oh, and a solid 7, and Carolyn Doran has won the match. And her first tournament, $12,600, and she knows it.
Oh my gosh, look at the emotions now.
And we'll be back to talk with this emotional champion right after this commercial break. Don't go away.